So when it comes to language, some of us had this problem where we are able to understand a language fluently, yet we can't speak it. Like, what the frick? You might know people like this, or you might be this person yourself. Understanding a language to fluency, yet speaking is such an issue. Before I explain why and go into the whole science behind it, there's something you gotta know. When it comes to learning a language, there are 4 pillars we have to be aware of, right? Or like the 4 aspects, if you will, right? Speaking, writing, listening, and reading. So these can be divided into 2 aspects. Speaking and writing are output, while reading and listening are input. When it comes to learning a language, when we're trying to comprehend it and understand it, this is done purely through input. You spend thousands of hours reading and listening to content, right? Whether it's like YouTube videos or books or like anything, dude, like podcasts, whatever, right? You spend so many hours like just trying to understand it and comprehend it. So I want you to ask yourself, how did you get good at this language? When it came to understanding it and comprehending it, how did you get good at it? It's through hundreds, if not probably thousands of hours of input. Input meaning reading and listening. So many hours of like YouTube videos and books and podcasts or whatever. This allows you to understand it to a really high level. Now, when it comes to speaking, which is in the output factor of language, how do you think you're gonna get good at this? It's just speaking. So the honest thing about this is you have thousands of hours of input, but very few hours of output. So it's honestly a no-brainer why you can't speak. You just haven't done it enough. You practice inputting so much, but very little outputting. So the best way to get better at speaking is to just speak more. How do we go about this though? This might be a little bit overwhelming, so let's get into more nitty-gritty details on how to actually do this. Let's make an action plan pretty much. So if speaking seems kind of overwhelming, just forget about it at first, right? Let's actually do writing instead. Writing is another form of output. Writing and speaking are both output. So instead of speaking first, let's just do writing. Writing means whether pen or paper or typing on a laptop or texting, writing. And we can do this in many ways via journaling or pen pal. I personally recommend just journaling. Just journal about your day. Like, what did you do in this day? Or what do you want to do? Just journaling, right? It doesn't have you have pen and paper. It can be like typing or texting, right? What makes writing unique is you are still outputting. You are still getting the knowledge from your brain that you got from inputting and putting it out on paper or Google Docs. The difference is you're not on a time constraint. With speaking, you're on a time constraint. If I'm conversing with somebody, right, it's back, forth, right? I speak, you speak, I speak, you speak. We are conversing. We're on a time constraint. I gotta think about what I wanna say, get the knowledge from my head, and then output it through pronunciation and enunciation. So when you're speaking, right, we're on a time constraint. We gotta keep the flow of the conversation going. I can't just pause for 2 minutes, think, knowledge, get it from my head, and then speak. I can't do that, right? I gotta keep it moving, right? Every conversation has a flow to it. I gotta keep the flow moving. With writing, all that goes out the window. You can take your time. If you really want to think about what you want to say or write in this case, you can just take your time. Okay, I want to say this. It's this word with this vocab and this grammar structure and whatever, and then you can write that out or type it. It's essentially speaking, but easier and slower. But the focus is speaking, right? We don't want to be able to write. We want to also speak as well. So eventually you're gonna have to find people and just start speaking with them. If you go to school, just find some random people who speak your language and just start conversing. Or if you just work a job, see if any of your coworkers speak your language. Or if not, just go to language meetups, language exchange. There's if you live in a city, there's more than likely going to be a language exchange event where people go for the sole purpose of language exchange. You just practice language. It's a real thing, actually. Do that. But let's say you don't want to talk to people face to face. Fine. You're kind of weird, but fine. You can do Hello Talk. Hello Talk is like the same thing, but like over the phone. So if you don't know, Hello Talk is like social media, but for language learners. There's like a feed, you can like correct people, you can like talk to people on the phone or texting with them. It's social media, but for language learners. You meet people for the purpose of language learning and language exchange. So you can either find people in real life to talk to, or if you're more shy, you can do it with Hello Talk. Or if you're super shy, and you don't want to talk to people at all, another thing that you can do is just talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Seriously, like you might like look weird or crazy, but it'll help you. So what I recommend you do, watch a YouTube video, any video, whatever video you want to watch, or maybe like a Netflix episode of like a show you like, anything. Watch something, close it, and then try to summarize it in your target language. If you're like learning Spanish, watch an episode of whatever, and then close it, and then try to like talk to yourself, say, oh, this happened, all in Spanish. This is a great way to practice speaking. And then like catch yourself. Whenever you see yourself saying like, catch yourself. If you don't want to do that, you can also just talk to yourself with the camera. Literally just do what I'm doing with the camera. Just talk to the camera. This is actually a better way because you can look back at the footage and say, oh, I made this mistake, whatever, right? You can correct yourself later down the line if you have like the footage. So you honestly have a bunch of ways. Even if you're super shy or super outgoing, you have different ways of doing this. Either talking in real life or literally just talking to a camera. There's many different ways. The point is speaking. Just speak. Before I close off, one thing I want to note is you're probably going to suck at it at first, and that's totally okay. Just like how you sucked at understanding this language when you first started, you're probably going to suck at speaking it, and that's totally okay. Whether you remember it or not, you sucked at understanding the language. If it's a native language, there is a point in time when you were a little kid, you did not understand anything. You sucked. The same thing is going to happen here. Don't let that discourage you. It's just a temporary phase. Especially if you can understand language fluently or you're at a really high level of comprehension, this phase will be super temporary. Because remember, you already have the knowledge. It's just a matter of getting that knowledge from your brain to your mouth to the air. I don't know. So don't be discouraged if you're having a hard time speaking, even if you understand language. This phase will be temporary. The more you do it, the more you speak, the easier and faster you'll get out of this phase. With that being said, I do wish you guys the best of luck, and I'm gonna get some sleep, and King Han out.